Hey guys, welcome back to Prophecy Rediscovered. I just wanted to give you an update on what's been happening in Israel the last 10 to 13 days. I think it's important that we talk about this. What has happened is Israel has began a coordinated attack on the terrorist proxy group Hezbollah. Okay, if you remember, October 7th, Hamas attacked Israel. And since then, Israel has gone about attacking Hamas. And truly, Hamas hasn't fired a rocket into Israel, I think, in weeks. So that terrorist group is pretty much taken care of. Israel's still got people over there, but they're pretty much taken care of. They have shifted their views to the north, to Hezbollah. In the last 10 to 13 days, incredible acts of warfare have happened that have never been seen on the earth ever. It began with Israel attacking Hezbollah, who I just want to mention, by the way, Hezbollah has been firing rockets into Israel since October 8th, so almost a year. So I was not surprised that Israel started this coordinated attack. But the way it started was with Hezbollah's communication systems. They were using pagers, they were using hand radios, cell phones. At some point in the past, Israel was able to intercept these communication devices in some new shipment. I don't know all the specifics, but they were able to compromise these devices with technology that caused them to explode. Okay, and so on day one of this attack, Israel set off these pagers that the Hezbollah terrorists had. They exploded. Day two, they set off the hand radios and the cell phones. Again, exploded in the hands of these Hezbollah terrorists. And it either killed them or blinded them, maimed them, severely injured them. At any rate, thousands of these Hezbollah terrorists were affected, and it caused great communication. It put a massive dent, maybe a complete dent, in their ability to communicate with each other. And so Israel took advantage of those 2 days and since have been attacking Hezbollah, specifically in Lebanon, in Syria as well. I think more strongly in Syria now. That Lebanon has been, they have seriously hurt Hezbollah there. Something I want to mention is that the United Nations had a meeting last week in New York, and Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel came and gave a speech. Before he gave his speech, he gave the green light to his military to attack in Beirut, Lebanon, and kill the Hezbollah leader, Nasrallah. Okay. Not only him, but also number two, number three. Basically, all the major heads of Hezbollah have been killed now. But Nasrallah was the main one. And he is probably the worst terrorist that the world has seen. I mean, he makes Goliath look miniature in comparison, okay? This was a bad guy, and it was just a matter of time before he paid with his life for what he's done. And so Israel killed him as, like I said, as Netanyahu went to give his speech at the UN. Before he gave his speech, he gave the green light. He never mentioned Nasrallah's name during the speech. And interesting to note, there's a pretty good chance that Nasrallah was watching the speech as the bombs fell on his head. Okay. Netanyahu did specifically speak to Iran and tell them that if they hurt anybody, any Jew in Israel, that Israel would respond, and that there wasn't an inch of land in Iran that they couldn't get to. And so it was really a message to Iran, considering that at the same time he was giving his speech, Nasrallah was being destroyed. And so after he gave the speech, he took a phone call, and they told him it's done. Nasrallah is dead. Another interesting thing to take from that UN meeting is that after Nasrallah was killed, there were 3 leaders from 3 different countries that met in a private room, and I'm going to show the picture of these 3 leaders. Leaders in Russia, Turkey, and Iran. Now, you might be asking, what's so important about that? Guys, this week, today even, I want you to start reading in Ezekiel. Specifically, go ahead and start in 36, but read through chapters 36 through 39. Okay, 36 and 37, you're going to get a pretty good history of Israel past. Okay, you're going to get a history of, when they were pushed out of Israel, when Israel, the country itself, was desolate and, desert. As you move forward through 37, going into 38, you're going to see Israel's return. We know that happened in 1948. They became a country again. And they have, every day since, Jews have started, they have come back to Israel. Okay, Israel has become plentiful, prosperous, a strong nation, especially when you consider they're the size of New Jersey. This has all been a part of God's plan. Now back to this meeting at the UN between these leaders of Russia, Iran, and Turkey. In Ezekiel 38, Ezekiel gives prophecy to what we call the Ezekiel War. This will happen during a time in Israel's history when they are prosperous, but specifically they are at peace. So much so that they have no more walls around their country or their cities or their territories, because they're not worried. All their enemies have been vanquished. Okay? In the midst of that time, the countries of Russia, Turkey, and Iran will join together. And when those 3 join together, they will come to the mountains of Israel and attack Israel. And with those 3 countries combined, Israel will not be able to defeat them. They just won't. But what happens? God intervenes supernaturally. He intervenes supernaturally and decimates these 3 countries. All of their troops, all of them. The Arab nation will never be the same, if they'll even exist at all, okay, in the Middle East. Ezekiel says the world will know. The Jews specifically will know that God is God, that He's going to take care of Israel after the Ezekiel War is over. So remember what I said. What are the 3 countries? Russia, Iran, and Turkey. At this UN meeting, they meet, these representatives of these 3 same countries meet and have talks and discussions. Guys, we are seeing precursors to the build of the Ezekiel War. What I want to say about this too is that the top theologians for a long time now, they cannot say, and I've studied this myself, I can't say either, if the Ezekiel War will happen before the rapture or after the rapture. We can't say, we don't know. But what I can tell you guys is that it seems we are seeing the building blocks happening before our very eyes right now of the Ezekiel War. So no matter if the rapture happens before the Ezekiel War or after, the fact that we're seeing these building blocks taking place, what does it tell us? The rapture is happening soon. And very soon. Maybe even sooner than you think. And so, guys, I want to encourage you. We know from biblical prophecy that the church in the last days, which, by the way, we live in right now, the church of true believers is a remnant. It's small. Some people say, well, when the rapture happens, you're looking at millions of Christians being raptured, and that's true. It could be. But in perspective of the size of the world, it's small. It's a remnant. Okay, that's what the Bible says. So I'm not surprised that the church as a whole right now is in the state that it's in, because everything that I just shared with you, for the majority of churches in the world, they are not talking about it. They're not. So for me, that gives whole new meaning to the prophecies in the Bible. When they talk about the rapture, they say God comes as a thief in the night. I always equated that to the lost. When the rapture happens, all these believers get raptured and taken, and then to the lost, it's like a thief in the night. A thief in the night came. But now, I just wonder for believers, will there be some believers that are raptured, that in the midst of that, it'll be like God came as a thief in the night? They had no idea it was coming. See, I want to be prepared. I'm never going to give a date because no one knows when the rapture will happen. But I want to be able to say when I'm raptured that I'm not surprised. I saw the signs. I saw they were coming. But I think as far as the church as a whole in the world today, we're going to see so many believers that when the rapture happens, they're going to be surprised. They're going to be caught off guard. And so, like I said, that whole term, thief in the night, has taken on a new meaning for me. And God, it also means, guys, to me that if the rapture is truly coming, if we're seeing the building blocks of the Ezekiel War, it is more important than ever that we reach the lost for Christ. That we preach the gospel of salvation. That we let people know that yes, we live in a sinful, dark world. We are sinful ourselves. But that Jesus Christ paid the penalty. He paid the price in His blood, in His death, and then His resurrection. So that we not only believe that He did it, but we accept that He did it. We accept His salvation so that when the rapture happens, we go with Him. We don't have to endure what comes after the rapture in the form of the tribulation. And we're with Him forever. Guys, I wouldn't want to be alive at any other time in history. I am grateful that I'm alive right now. We are seeing God's promises being fulfilled right now. So guys, that's my update. If I could say one final thing to look for. Israel, yesterday, in addition to what they have done with the Hezbollah terror group, they had to make an attack on the Houthis in Yemen yesterday with a hard strike. So they've got that group that they're dealing with as well. But on the Hezbollah front, I mentioned earlier they've attacked in Lebanon pretty extensively, but they're also moving to Syria. I want you to pay attention to Damascus and Syria. Okay, there's an Old Testament prophecy. Okay, that speaks to the desolation of Damascus, that it is turned into a ruinous heap. Okay, this could happen before the Ezekiel War. It could. And so be paying attention to the news on Damascus, because I've got a feeling there is so many terrorist ties running through Damascus that Israel's going to make an attack on them. Okay, I'm not giving a prophecy. I'm speculating. This could happen. Okay, so pay attention to Damascus. But as a whole, guys, as the church, we should be paying attention to these signs. Okay, Jesus said that we're not going to know when the rapture happens, but we can know the timing based off the seasons and the signs. Okay, we need to be paying attention. We need to be talking about these things in church. Be a part of the remnant. When the rapture happens, whether you're lost or whether you're a Christian that refuses to study biblical prophecy, don't be caught off guard when the rapture happens. Okay, don't be caught off guard. Don't fall into that definition of God coming as a thief in the night and catching people off guard. No, as followers of Christ, we want to be able to say when that rapture happens, I'm not surprised. I saw it coming. He is coming soon and very soon. Guys, look up. Your redemption draws near.